Since we're talking justice, I like to bring something to light. I keep hearing people say the system is broken. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you get it, you get it. Maybe you never thought about it before. Maybe you have and just ignored it or heard about it. Let me give you a ugly truth. The system is not broken. The reason why the system is not broken, because you never broke it. If you're afraid to break something, how can it be broken? Because if those who put the system together are benefiting to the moon, to the stars, what's broken? Is it broken from the time of chattel slavery, where there was no right, that the first crime written in the Constitution is the Fugitive Slave Act? The Fugitive Slave Act was the first federal crime. Listen, the Fugitive Slave Act, written in the Constitution in 1772, 73, was the first federal crime. Black freedom, black self-determination, the black voice. What broke it? Who broke it? Did somebody promise something different? I don't recall anybody promising anything. I don't remember promising or hearing anything about a promise to black people after emancipation, the Civil War was over. Okay, the 40 acres and the mule, that was a proposal. But there was no written promise. What the only promise was, no slavery shall be in the United States except as punishment for a crime. The only exception. So that's the only promise you got. So how is it that you expect the system to be fixed when it was never broken? Because you never broke it, because you're too afraid to break it. It's like when people say, here comes another riot, these people are going to burn their own place down, and this is what we're going to get. We're going to end up with no services, all the stores, things are going to be broken down. Okay, let's go this way. Probably 99% of most black people work for white people. You go to your job, you get a new boss, he looks at you crooked. Somehow, this guy, you already know he got it in for you. You're not looking for another job. Maybe you're too old, or maybe you're just too comfortable. So, just as you thought, this person starts targeting you. You feel it. It angers you because you're doing your job. So you go home frustrated. Back to work the next day thinking, not this again. Hope he's different. Hope he changed. Maybe I'll do something a little bit more and he'll see my work. But somehow he just doesn't like you. And you just try and get frustrated because you're doing your best. Then you go home again. This goes on for at least a week. Maybe more, maybe less. One day your child, who used to read or do something too special. Maybe your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mother, your son does something and say, hey, let's go do this. And you're like, hell no, give me some time. I got some things to do. You blow up on them. That's no different than what happens when these communities go up in flames in their own community. It's like you're not going to talk to the people and give them what they need because you're afraid to lose your job. You're afraid to get demoted because you worked too hard. You went to college. You got educated for this. You're going to prove yourself. What do I need? What am I going to do? So the meanwhile, all that frustration goes home in your house. What's the difference between the neighborhood? Because the system ain't broken. It's not. Because you never broke it. You never decided to stand up to it. Like you stand up to telling your child or your significant other to shut up or go do something or some demand that you never say to the boss. The boss. Because that's what it's like, is the boss. When you say demand, justice, who are you talking to? Can you not hear yourself? The justice comes from yourself. It doesn't come from them. They're incapable of it. The system is not broken. You want them to fix something that's working perfect. You just have to get with it. Because let's go back to the end of slavery. First of all, slavery comes back from what happened in Haiti. The Haitians, which weren't Haitians, it was the Black Revolution back in 1792 with the whole, what they call the Black Jacobins and what was going on with the revolutions in Europe, in France. That was the same thing that, like I mentioned before, how the colonists, the rebels, George Washington and them, how they used the idea of the humanistic thoughts about natural laws. So those natural laws were arguing throughout Europe and Western Europe as to the rights of man versus just divine right, divine monarch born with this and not just the fact that you are just born a person who is supposed to be divinely put here, that somehow that wasn't seen, that wasn't fair. So the people said, what about just natural humanistic rights that people have because people are able to reason through logic, things like that. So why should they be subjected to something or someone whose intelligence or intellect is no more better than theirs? In that sense, that's what that was about. The church and all that. But then back to what's going on in the island, now called Haiti, Dominican Republic. But what happened was the same fire that was taken off in France caught on to what was going on in Haiti. The idea, these cries for injustice, you had the people traveling back and forth, speaking about things, and people say, well, this applies to us too. United States did it. France helped the United States. France started doing the same thing to their country. The people in Haiti got wind of that, so they did it too. But they freed themselves. So they were able to write whatever was seen as perfect or the best they can do. One thing they did was not to let any European own land. Everybody who was on the land in Haiti, black or white, was black. Everybody is black. That's how you do it. Everybody's black. They fought that revolution for all of those oppressed. But what is the situation now? We see them as them over there, but they are the symbolism, because that symbolism of what's happened to Haiti was what the blueprint has been going on in Africa. I think you see you any different than a Haitian or a black Cuban, black Puerto Rican, black Dominican, black Mexican, black Honduran, black Brazilian, black Bolice, black Costa Rican. You think your language, Latino, is going to make that different? I'm a Latin. I've seen black people from Colombia who don't even know they're black. And they got them here too. Black can only mean human. You got black people in India who are called black. They got a caste system over there where the black man gets it. The darker you are, the worse it is for you. Who came up with that? The Aryans that came from the Greeks. When the Greeks went through Europe and Persia and left their markings like they did in Egypt, they did the same thing in Persia. They Roman Grecoed it. They Greek Hellenized it. So they created these two factions of Greek Aryans or Greek Iranians, because they defeated the Persians. So they flood the region the same way. So there's white light in India. They came through. This goes back before you were born. No different. So those people that have been there came through starting when Alexander went through and started changing the landscape of Minor Asia, Asia Minor, as you call it. So this trickled down into how when the Arabs went from Islam, that was brought in, because we're already thinking of a mixture of the people who've been through the region because of the conquering of the Macedonians, then the Romans, then the mixture of that region was mixed as we see this melting pot here coming. This already happened in that region. Then these same people who went and used that same scenario going back from the Romans or the Greeks, they used that through Islam to conquer North Africa. The same people, the same descendants of these people, going back to the Greeks, the Macedonians. That's how Islam got spread, through the descendants. We've been monitoring that. All the history has been written. I think this is a joke. You think what I'm saying here is irrelevant? Now I'll bring it back to now. Black people are the only people who have to protest. Who have to protest because no one else really has any problems, or at least they act like they don't. But for the most legitimate reason, black people have to protest. Okay? Now, protest is just the beginning. Protest is like the idea of maybe your boss told you something or somebody told you something on a job and you just didn't move fast enough. Maybe you slowed it down a little bit. Maybe you came a little later. Maybe you came back from lunch a little later. A little protest, little kick in the knee, a little jab at that, you know? That's protest. You're not really stopping too much of the system, the thing going. You're just giving it a little kick, a little nudge in the side, you know? Not too much. You don't want to stir anything up, but you're doing a little something that's going to make you feel a little. It's going to give you a little charge, even though they might not even know why you did it. They might not even have any idea you did it, but it gave you satisfaction. I know you hear me. I know you got it. So the idea from there, if black people are protest, and protest is the consistent go-to. Now, I'm going to give you something that you may not want to hear. How is it that black people have been protesting for years, 50 years, more than 50 years, and a lifetime of probably everybody who's alive now, and not one law specifically in the name of a black person or black people are on the books? You got an Amber Alert. You got a little genie law from this, whatever happens. You know, bing ding, your phone goes off, and here it is, the Amber Alert. Because one little girl went missing and something happened. They got another law. They got a law. Hundreds of thousands of black people dying, injustice. Not one law. No law written in any black man's name or by any black man's hand. The LGBTQ community, which has basically come about, or since the time of the AIDS and the blankets and the marching and things like that, the idea of the stigma coming out. There are laws based on that. So who broke it? How's it broken? It's working just fine. Because we have to get to the truth of the matter is that the slavery and the end of slavery and the freedom that you see that you have or believe you have is in the image of the white people. Your definition, your freedom, your participating in the system is in the image of white people. This is why protest is such more, because this is about as far as you're going to go. They're going to say, don't break up your own community. Don't go down there and break theirs up. No, we're not going to do that. But we'll just do it here until it gets done, and you know it's coming home. You know it's coming home. You know it's coming home. If you don't go to your job and you don't put that on your boss and tell him off like you should be telling him off, it's coming home. Why black people have the most cases of hypertension, high blood pressure. Where do you think that's from? Scared to tell the boss off. Scared to tell it like it is. You'd rather go to an early grave than do that. It's not broken, but it needs to be broken. Until you get to break it, or you get to fake it.